Okay, so hi and welcome to the next edition of The Promising Creative. I have the amazing Kojo here, and I wanted to get him on the show today to discuss his journey. And I've known you for a number of years now.
Yeah, I think you've at least, I'm 27 now. So you've known me
Since I was about
So yeah, it's coming up to 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a long time.
Oh my God, that's a long
and
time.
I don't know, because you do so much.
Yeah.
Like, I know you dance.
Mm-hmm.
You got your stylist.
Yeah.
You got your own publication.
Yeah.
And you do so much.
So much.
But when I first met you, I remember you as a dancer.
Yes.
And I was like, damn.
Like,
And you're a model.
Yes, yeah.
And you're a model. So I've seen you on campaigns.
Do you know what? It's so mad. Like, whenever anyone asks me now, like, what do you do? I really struggle to answer that question because I feel like I have literally done everything. And it's like I've done everything and I've done it well as well. It's not like I say I can do this and I can't really do it. I feel like, and I believe that I'm just as good as everything that I've put myself forward for. So when I first started out, I was purely a dancer. But with dance, I think I always knew that dance had a certain bit of longevity to it, you know? So for me, my mum's voice was always at the back of my head, like, always make sure you have a plan B aside of dance, always make sure you have a plan B aside of dance. So throughout my training, I've always made sure that I've had other interests just in case, I don't know, if I broke an ankle one day and I couldn't dance or whatever. So when I was dancing, I always thought, oh, fashion seems pretty cool. And I always would just like dress my friends up, like, you know, going out on the weekend, everyone would be like, oh, can you go Zara with me? Can you just pick out some outfits? And can you come Superdry with me? Can you pick out some outfits? And I'd be like, yeah, but I didn't know what a stylist was. I didn't really know what fashion was at the time. All I knew was I'm a dancer. I enjoy dancing and I really enjoy America's Next Top Model.
Tell us about your dancing, because you're playing it down a little bit. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your dancing, what you done, how did you get into it?
Okay, cool. So what's mad is, okay, so with dance, I actually came into dance later. So I went to the Brit School.
Okay.
And to get into the Brit School, you actually have to audition for the strands that they have. And at the time I auditioned, there was theatre strand, there was musical theatre, there was media, art, and dance, and music. I actually auditioned for theatre. So I actually got into the school as an actor.
Okay.
So I did the first 2 years of my training as a actor and I really enjoyed it. But I really enjoyed the practical side of stuff. But the theory side of things was really difficult for me. Like, I would like fall asleep in some of the like theory lessons. And I remember coming up to sixth form and my teacher was like, Kojo, you really should think about what you want to do for sixth form, because if you're going to stay here, it's going to get more intense. And all I could think in my head was, I do not want to be sleeping in the classroom. And I was literally having like nightmares. But I did extracurricular dance at the time, because I used to dance in the parties and the raves. So when I went to a school that actually did like dance properly, I was absolutely infatuated. Like, I was amazed. Like, I'd never seen nothing like that. So what's mad was, like, I started training as a ballet and a modern dancer actually. And it was crazy because being just black and from ends and just growing up in Croydon and being from like Thornton Heath, everyone knew me as like the dancer that was like partying in raves. But like, to actually go and do like ballet and be wearing like a jock strap and like ballet shoes, that was like mad. Like, even to me, like, but I remember my first ballet lesson, I was so excited, but then at the same time I literally said to myself, no one better walk past this fucking classroom. Like, I didn't want no one catching me losing my swag, nothing like that. But as time went on, I really fell in love with like the discipline I got from it. I really fell in love with like always wanting to do better, because that's the one thing I found about dance that I just really enjoyed. There's always something you can improve on. There's always something you can do better. There's always something that you need to work on. And it teaches you so much about yourself, because you're in that classroom and you're standing in front of a mirror and it's like you constantly have to check yourself in that mirror. So there will be some days where you're like so upset or you're really like depressed about something, and then you get in the classroom and you can tell that something's wrong with that student, or that there's something wrong with your friend, because everyone learns how to like watch themselves in the space and literally look at yourself in the mirror and really like deep that for yourself. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. And then so got to sixth form and it was like, all right, cool. Maybe I should apply for dance. And my dance teacher at the time, she walked past me in the corridor. She goes, do you know what you're doing for sixth form yet? I was like, oh, I don't know yet. She was like, just make sure you apply for dance. I was like, all right, miss. So applied for dance, and then yeah, I started training as a dancer for my college year. So that's like year 12 and 13. Really started enjoying it. And then I got into jazz more, and then I got into like commercial dance more. And then that's when all my like hip hop stuff started coming in. And in my final year of Brit, it was actually kind of crazy. Like I didn't know what I wanted to do. When I got to university, what really hit me was the dance college I really wanted to go to at the time. When I went, I only got awarded like a 90% funding, and some people got 100%. Now that extra 10% that was left over, it was really expensive, because to train as a dancer and dance colleges and all that kind of stuff, it's so expensive. So it got to the point where I was like, all right, summer's come, and I was really enjoying events, whatever. And then so I ended up applying for an events management degree at Greenwich. And I remember my first like trimester came in, like first semester came in, and my student loans come in. I started shopping. I'm feeling good. I'm living life, because obviously it was the first time I'd like moved out, have money, all this responsibility. I'm at uni. I've kind of forgotten about dance. And then one day, the dance college that I didn't get into for full on 100%, they called me at like maybe like mid-October, and it was one of the head like teachers. She was like, hey, I remembered you from the audition, and I was just wondering why you aren't here. Like, you should be here. I really wanted you here, so why aren't you here? And I just said to her, look, I didn't get 100%. I can't afford it. And she was just like, we will give you that 100% tomorrow if you want to start tomorrow. Right. I'm thinking, what do I do? Because I'm at uni now. I'm on a whole new journey, like whole new course. Obviously, I love dancing, and I've got money in my pocket.
Everything's great.
Everything's great. Like, what do I do? And I don't know. There was just a voice in my head that was just like, don't take it. It's calm. Like, you'll be fine. You'll be good. So I was like, do you know what? I'm actually fine. I didn't take it. So then I just started training so hard.
While you were studying?
While I was
doing
studying.
dance?
Yeah.
So you were like, I'm going to have the best of both? I'm
going to have the best of both. I'm going to go to uni.
Okay.
I'm going to get like my degree,
that.
do whatever. And then after uni, I'm going to be in that classroom. I'm going to be training. And I was training with the best of the best. Like, and that was kind of an advantage, because I didn't go to dance college and I was just straight in the world of dance and in the industry. Everyone that I was around was already professionally working dancers. Everyone's already going to auditions. Everyone's already doing this, doing that. They have this agent, that agent. So it's like I had a real raw understanding and real raw learning process, really, because I wasn't in school where they would tell you, okay, cool, so you need to go to this agency, follow this person, this dancer. I was just in it and I was just absorbing it. And I think that form of learning for me was the best, and it was great. So doing that training, and then I guess a year later, the first job I ever booked was Jess Glynn at the Brit Awards. So doing that, I got like a solo as well.
I don't know if I remember you then, but I think I do. I think I remember saying...
And do you know what's mad?
He's on the Brits, bro.
It's mad.
He's on the Brits.
It's mad. So, and it's crazy. Like, my journey during my university years, those 3 years are so important to my life now, because those 3 years is when I was investing a lot of time just trying so many things. Yeah. Because I think the reason why you remember that is because through training as a dancer, it's kind of natural in the UK, especially, to go, do you know what? I'm going to go to LA for like 3 months and I'm just going to train out there with the best of the best, because that's where everyone considers like the best dancers in the world are. So I was in LA doing my thing. And then when I got back, I actually hit up Kira Liberati, stylist. And like, she was she was the fashion coordinator there at the time because she was assisting your fashion editor at the time.
Yeah.
So
So she was at Notion.
Yeah, so yeah, she was at Notion.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was at Notion. And
Good old Kira.
Big up. Big ups. So her being like, she had actually booked me as a model for a job before
So
I
you
went
were
to
modeling as well, yeah?
I'm modeling as well. Like, I was just doing so much, Like, so she booked me as a model for a job. I did that job, and then I came back. And then while I was in LA for those 3 months, I said to myself, "Do you know what? You might get a bit bored of this dance thing for these 3 months, like every single day, in and out." So I fast up myself, and I find myself like a internship at a fashion PR company. So there was this fashion PR in LA. Every third day of the week, so like Wednesday or like a Thursday, I would go in and I'd help out. But stylists would come in, and I was like, I don't want to be a PR styling. Like, I want to pick out the clothes for people. Because back then, I think like Gigi stylist came in at the time. Kendall's, like, this is before they like blew. So I was like really getting excited. So when I came back to the UK from LA, I literally hit up Kira. I was like, babe, like, if you ever need a hand with anything or you just need help, just give me a shout. I'd just love to just be around, just love to learn. She replied back to me straight away like, hey, like, do you want to come into the office on like Friday? I think I need some help for a shoot. I was like, yeah, perfect. I'm there. Came in on Friday. I was only meant to stay for like an hour, just helping her. Ended up staying till like 8 p.m. that day. And the rest is history. I literally ended up being at Notion for a little minute. Like, yeah, I remember. I was literally helping in the office, in and out, clearing that cupboard and making sure Kira was on point, carrying all her suitcases to the point where I ended up started helping other people in the office. Like, it was a great learning space for me anyway, to learn everything that I wanted to kind of learn in terms of within music and fashion. Yeah. And then the dance at the same time was just kind of just like another little benefit of just being in the industry, because I'm getting to go into rehearsal spaces with some of the biggest stars. Like, I remember doing like a Little Mix video at the time with like Paris Goebel. She just choreographed Rihanna's Super Bowl. So it's like, I've worked with some really big names in my dance career, but it's been really exciting and interesting to be able to run the other things in my career that I enjoy as well.
So basically you've been juggling.
I've been juggling. I've just been doing this. I've literally just been doing that my whole creative journey. Yeah, I've literally just been juggling, because I feel like for a long time I didn't know what I wanted to do, like, as a creative. And I feel like when you first start out, you never really know what you want to do. You have an idea and you think, okay, cool, this is where I want to be. And then something happens one day and your eyes get caught by something else, and then you kind of want to experience that. And I think what's great about this era of time is now young creatives are allowed to explore that a bit more in terms of being able to do more than one thing. Because at the time when I was doing it as well, everyone also was a bit like, you're doing too much. You're doing too much, bro. Like, just focus on one thing. Like, if you want to be at a magazine, be at a magazine. If you want to be a dancer, be a dancer. If you want to be a model, be a model. So it was difficult trying to navigate that then.
But you always trusted your own judgment.
Yeah.
That was the key.
That was the key.
I want to do that, so I'm going to do it. I'm not going to listen to what anyone says. And you probably did back. You're like, I'm going to show mum as well. I've got it all covered. All bases are being covered. No way, mum. I've got plan B, A, B, and C, and D, and I'm working on E.
Yeah, no, literally, I just wanted to prove just above and beyond. Like, and I always just wanted to prove it to myself as well. Yeah. And I think that's one of the most important things to remember as a creative. You're not doing anything for anyone. You're a creative because you enjoy creating. So therefore you're doing these things for yourself. So whatever creative journey you're on or whatever you're doing creatively, make sure you understand that and you make sure you enjoy that, you know, because there's been many a times where, like, I don't know, as creatives as well, especially when you're young and you're starting out, you're broke. You're broke. Like, even me, you're so broke. Like, I hate that word. But when you're starting out as a young creative, that's just a fact that you're going to come across, you know? So
how did you deal with that?
Again, just making sure I was doing things that I enjoyed. So it was a thing of, yeah, I'm broke, but I'm working hard and I know I'm going to benefit from it somehow, you know? And I'm very lucky that because I was juggling so many different things, if this person wasn't paying me, I'll just go over to this person and see if I could get a job over here. So there was always some sort of income coming in because I was always just juggling like 1,001 things. So, and I think that's how I kind of best navigated like the whole being broke thing, because it's like I was earning money from this and then I'm investing it into that and then earning money from this and then putting it into that, because paying for dance classes, that's expensive. Like paying for travel to go and assist someone that, you know, that's at our whole magazine, that's expensive. So it was difficult, but I did it because I wanted to do it, because I was so passionate about the journey I was on and I am on now. You know, I'm still so passionate about my journey. Like I don't know where it's going to take me, but I just know there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And one thing I will say to people is you don't know what's at the end of the tunnel, but as long as you work hard and work and give your all to what you're working on now, whatever that light is going to be the most beautiful light that you can ever picture, because each step of the way when you're working hard, it just gets better and better and better. Like, you know, now I'm comfortable enough to say I've put everything that I've learned into producing a publication of my own, you know, because I enjoyed so many different parts of the industry, like the creative industry, from being a dancer, from being at Notion, you know, from assisting the stylist and from enjoying like fashion shows and stuff. So being able to do that now is such a blessing, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's been a journey.
Still is a journey.
It still is a journey, but...
So you came out, at what point did you sort of say, okay, I'm done with dancing, or do you still dance?
So I want to say COVID.
Okay.
COVID was like the real big moment I went, do you know what? I'm going to take a real big step back from this, because what had happened was 2 years of my life just, well, of everyone's life just flew. And in those 2 years, the industry I was in as a dancer, there was no work. No music videos were being shot. No one was going on tour. Theatres was shut. Where was I getting money from? Do you know what I mean? There was literally nothing. And at the time as well, just before COVID, it was even more difficult because work for me started to slow down, because there just naturally a lot of the talent in the UK were only booking female identifying dancers. You know, there was not a lot of dance work for like male identifying people. So it was difficult. It was difficult. Like I was like, oh damn, like I need to pay rent this month, but I haven't done a job for like a month and a half. And there is no jobs because everyone's just asking for chicks right now, you know, and which is okay, but it just means, what am I going to do? Yeah. So then when COVID hit, and that was also kind of like a breath of fresh air for me, because it didn't feel like, oh God, I'm not working and everyone's working and X, Y, and Z, you know? So
it was better for your mental health in a weird way.
In a weird way,
yeah,
it was so good.
Not COVID, but the fact that
the
you
time,
didn't feel guilty.
Yeah, I didn't feel guilty. And I think...
But did you suffer from that though, when you weren't getting work? I mean, apart from the money, but like,
like, of course.
Oh my God, I'm not working.
I'm not working. And I think I suffered even more because at this point, I definitely felt a bit lost, like in terms of myself, in terms of just like where I was at, in terms of just sexuality, my life, family, culture, just what I wanted to do with my career. Because I think where I'm someone that's always juggled and done so much, I think getting into the fashion industry and music industry, let's flip onto that side. I think when I was experiencing difficulty in terms of being seen or trying to get a job as a independent stylist, like by myself and not assisting anyone, and I don't know, maybe being booked to do someone's press shots or booked to style this person, where that was really slow and really difficult to try break that barrier
to get traction on it,
I decided to just go full-blown dance.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Because I was just like, no one on this side is feeling
there's
the
no
sauce.
biting going.
Yeah, you know, so I went full on dance. So then when that started to slow down and then we're going into like a pandemic, I'm like, where am I at? Like, what do I do? Like, what do I actually do now? This was the first time I think in my life where I actually started doubting myself a little bit. I started thinking, have you made the right decision? Maybe you should go back to uni and go do like an academic subject and do something where you're going to be on a good salary. And I think that's why even till today, I still struggle with things. And I think I still feel like I'm trying to prove something, because I feel like I'm always going to feel like that. You know what I mean?
I think I do as well.
Yeah.
It's quite a normal thing.
Yeah, I think so. And I think being a creative as well, we feel that even more, because I feel like you feel like the odd one of the bunch.
And also they don't
get it.
They don't get it. No, they don't understand it. And it's not their fault, because they know one type of way.
Yeah.
And they come over from another country.
Yeah.
It's all fresh, and it's all about earning money and providing for your family.
Yeah.
And it's not always about being creative and being free. Because what we do allows us to be free. And we're lucky.
Yeah, we're very lucky. Some people
feel like, I've got to go to work, I've got to go there from 9, I've got to leave at 6, or I've got to do this and I've got to do that.
And that routine, when like someone is in that routine and they see someone that's not in that routine, it's intimidating. It's also scary, because it's like there's some sort of envy of the freedom we have in terms of the decisions we are able to make sometimes. You know, like look at us, like some days we can be like, all right, cool, let's start shooting at 1. Do you know what I mean? Or let's start shooting at 3.
But they don't understand that we may not have money next week.
Literally.
We're like, oh, damn. But whereas they've got the consistency and it's a trade-off.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So you were doubting yourself for the first time.
For the first time. I'm like, literally looking at it like, so. Literally, it was tight.
So you got to a point where you were questioning yourself, and then you started your brand.
Yeah, my brand. So with the brand, and this is what I will say to anyone wanting to start like a brand or start like a process, make sure you feel completely ready for the journey that you're about to embark on, and be like prepared and kind of like research it. Make sure you've got enough skills to kind of start the brand off. So even me, when I first started the brand, creatively, I thought, yeah, I have this down. I've got sick concepts, sick ideas. As soon as I started doing a few bits and bobs, I've gone, all right, cool, my business head needs to switch on. And I literally started reading some books that I had left over from uni because I did a business degree. Like events management was actually a business degree. So weird, but it is. So doing that, there were some books that I had to like just start reading again and just start
knowledging yourself.
Yeah, knowledging myself really. So doing that, I was like, all right, cool. And the brand came about. Clothing was dope.
I like it. I'm waiting for my free top.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to send you one.
Medium.
Medium?
Medium.
You sure?
Got wider here now.
Oh yeah.
Definitely no 6-pack, bro. 1 pack with a crease.
The roll.
Literally.
But okay, nah. So then that came along, and then now I'm just here.
Can I ask you a question? So that moment where you doubted yourself and you wasn't sure, and did you suffer from depression at that point? Was you was you still in lockdown at that moment?
Yes. So I think for me, lockdown was a lot, bro. For me, especially as a black man, it was a lot, because Black Lives Matter happened at the exact same time. Mm-hmm. So I was already in a phase of feeling depressed in terms of work, not knowing what I want to do, X, Y, and Z, and then having to wake up every single morning to see what I experienced on a daily life anyway being
put in your face.
Put in my face. And it was difficult because I first started being, really supporting the movement, saying what I had to say. And I actually even came out on social media at the time as a black gay man, because for me, it was difficult, like trying to defend a community and culture that I am a part of that doesn't necessarily feels like it accepts me 110%, you know? So it's like, how am I expected to support
back something that doesn't always
back me? Yeah, and I understand. And even when you're from the hood, it's just like, bro, if your boy's not gonna back you, like just let him So it was a lot, it was a lot. So the depression and the anxiety, I think it was like anxiety definitely came from like the work and not knowing what to do. And then the depression side of things definitely came from like my sexuality and the whole Black Lives Matter thing. And then dealing with that and not like, I don't know if I don't know if I found a way to actually deal with it. I feel like lockdown happened. We kind of all came out of it and we was allowed to just go and do our thing.
Back to normal, crack on.
Back to normal. And I wasn't necessarily being so violently faced with my problems like every single day. I'm feeling like I have to face these problems because I was able to now distract myself with other things to stop me from constantly just thinking those things. So it was weird. Like lockdown was like, at the start of it, it was good because it kind of gave me the self-confrontation that I needed to have at the time. But then it was also bad because it also sent me down this whole spiral of like thinking, where am I at and what's going on? And like even till now, like I still struggle with anxiety and depression.
How do you deal with that? How's that like?
Fine. Do you know what?
What do you do when you're
when I'm in those like
moments?
When I'm in those moments,
Because they are moments.
They are moments. They are literally moments
that do pass.
They-
As someone said to
so
me, you're
crazy.
struggling at the moment, Billy, but it's okay.
You're gonna get
be there
through
for
it.
now, and it's gonna
Yeah.
it'll go, and then it may come back.
Yeah.
and then it may go. But
It's mad. Like I don't know. I think because I haven't been this like thinking, but in my lowest part of feeling anxious and feeling like depressed, there was a moment where I did feel quite suicidal. So to deal with that in that moment, I literally had to call my friend. And I think that's the best thing that I could do and still do now. Whenever I get in those moments, I literally call a friend that I know is just there to hear me vent and just talk to me and just remind me that they are there and just ground me. Because I think when you get in those moments of feeling super anxious and super depressed, it's hard to remember the person you are outside of that depression and outside of the anxiety. All you think about is
the moment.
Is the moment of how
Yeah.
shit you feel in that moment,
Yeah.
you know, but you
Yeah.
don't think about how all your achievements you've done to get to even lead you up to that moment, you know, because sometimes it's the pressure of your achievements that will send you into those moments. Like it's crazy. So like I've found like, you know, talking literally, I've literally found that talking is literally one of the best things for me personally, and exercise as well. At first, like, you know, I've always like been active. I was a dancer, whatnot. But now going to the gym is literally like my me time, my moment to like center and just like breathe and just start the day fresh.
I understand.
Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
just that time for yourself, you know, because I think there's something really pure about breathing and that moment of just breathing with yourself.
Simple stuff.
It's just simple stuff. And literally gym and just talking to my friends.
And so going back to basics, basically.
Yeah.
Giving yourself TLC.
Yeah.
And allowing yourself to have space.
Yeah.
To feel what you feel.
Yeah. I think before I wasn't allowing myself to do that. And I was just constantly clouding it. But going back to basics has been important and it's been real good. So I would literally like tell anyone like that feels like they're going through stuff, or just make sure you find that one friend. You know, make sure you find that one friend that you can really talk to and really tell all your issues about, you know, and someone that's going to not judge you at all. Someone you can be unapologetically yourself with, you know. That's just all. Yeah, I think
it's a very pure thing.
Very pure thing. It's difficult to find.
Yes.
Very difficult to find.
And it comes with time as well.
And it comes with time. But I think you're only going to learn by trying. And you're only going to find it by talking and trying to talk to people and seeing who's really there for you, you know, like who calls your phone when you don't call their phone, you know. It's little things like that. So that's just kind of where I'm at with that.
See, it went deep. You found your moment, you spoke to your friend, and you started to look after yourself, physically as well as mentally, by being able to talk to people. And then you're like, right, I'm launching my brand. You launch your brand, you've done your research. You're like, you know what? My business brain needs to switch on. I need to work out what's going on. You started doing it. And then kind of like, I think that sort of brings us to where we are now. Like, what is your
story now?
Yeah, like, where are you going now? Like, because you're obviously creative. You've been creative from the moment you can remember.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think my story now, I know I want to be a director. I know I want to be a director of just like everything.
okay.
It sounds mad, but I want to be able to direct music videos. I want to be able to direct films. I want to be able to direct like some of the biggest fashion campaigns for some of the biggest brands. Like, I just want to enjoy being a creative, you know, and I want to enjoy being able to put all the things I've learned and all the skills that I've learned into one thing. And I feel like being a director is the best place for me to be able to like do that. In terms of like,
how do you go about, like, you've got the vision now, you're like, right, I want to direct everything everything that ticks my boat. I want to do it, big or small.
Yeah,
if it makes me happy and it ticks my boat and it tingles me, I'm going to do it. So how do you go about facilitating that?
Yeah, so literally working within like your network and working within the people that you've known. And because the thing is, it all starts from somewhere. Do you know what I mean? You just want to know that you can even like do that. So now it's going to be putting 110% into the publication and showing like everyone creatively like my ideas and how I like to execute my ideas. In terms of like videos and stuff, I work with quite a few emerging artists. So for me, it will be working with those artists and supporting them by supporting myself too.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, going on a journey.
Like going on a journey.
Like buying into what's happening.
You know, and I think now I've kind of like decided that for myself.
Yeah.
And I know what I kind of want to do and where I want to go. It's just going back to the beginning of young Kojo and just like going ham and just putting 110% into everything I do, no matter what it is. You know, I think as a creative, sometimes like you could start a project and as soon as you're not feeling it a little bit, you're like, yeah. I'll come back to that.
I'll come back to that later. Let's start out. Good idea.
But
it was great at 3 a.m. But leave it there.
Now I'm just going to be super strict with myself.
Yeah, I like that.
You know,
I appreciate that.
You know, just keep going ham with it. So, because I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah.
You know, like I figured it out in terms of me, myself, in terms of what I want, who I am as a person, and what I kind of want to get out from just my relationships with people and just life, really and truly. But in terms of like career and whatnot, no one knows what's going to happen. You know, no one actually knows. And this is what I was saying earlier about that light at the end of the tunnel. You don't necessarily know what's in that light or what that light will be, but if you work hard at every single stage in getting to that light, it's going to feel amazing by the end of it, you know? And that's how I feel.
How do you balance that 110% with normal life and finding time for yourself apart from the gym? Is there anything else that you do that?
I'm crazy. I will be completely honest with you. I'm crazy. I don't find the balance. Like for me, like, I don't know if it's
pedal to the metal.
Yeah, literally, I don't find the balance. And it's something I should do more.
Is there a point when you burn out and you think, I'm really tired now, so I've been going at it for days? Did your body just say
switch off?
It's finished. I'm going to sleep.
So last year, so it happens once a year. I'm not gonna lie. I get really ill. Like it gets to a point where I've overworked myself. I've done too much, and then I'm like, crap. I need to spend like the next 4 days in bed, just not doing anything. Like phone switched off. And then I always get annoyed at myself because I'm like, I need those 4 days. I don't have the time. I'm literally like, I don't have the time to be sick right now. However, I need to make more time to balance everything so I avoid myself being like sick and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to try. I've promised myself to try and find that balance a bit more. I think that's probably why I'm so, like I was saying to you earlier, like I've been single for like 7 years. You know, I'm being single for 7 years. I don't know why, but I feel like it's also to do with the fact that I've been so go. So I don't know. I'm opening myself up to like dating now as well, trying to see friends more often as well. And I think that's the way I'm going to try and find the balance.
Yeah. That sounds like you are starting to put things into play.
Yeah.
So and where do you find your inspiration from?
Everywhere.
Is there a particular thing that you like?
Do you know what it is? I think the reason why I say everywhere is because my journey is from everything in terms of I've been like interested in so many different things. So dance wise, when I want to find inspiration from dance, like, okay, I'll say this. Dance is the core of my inspiration for a lot of things. I will say that.
It's your core being.
Yeah, it's my core being. Because with dance, yeah, the understanding of just movement and the body and what that can do for other things and how it can apply to other things is like, sometimes it's mind-blowing to me. Like creating still imagery, but understanding how that still imagery can look interesting with movement involved in that comes from like dance and understanding the body, you know? So dance definitely is like one of the core bits of inspiration for me. I love seeing how, like, you know, clothes can move within dance. I love seeing, like, it sounds weird, but clothes and textures and fashion kind of the same in the dance world, because you're putting textures into like some movements when you want to describe something, when you want to feel something, when you want to show something off, you know. There's words within fashion and music that you will use that can definitely be used within dance, and I feel like that's where I've really started, you know, understanding where some of my inspiration comes from. And then culture as well. I love my culture. I love being Ghanaian. I've lived with Jamaicans for the last like 6 years as well, so I'm really like into the Caribbean culture and Jamaican culture as well, and I love the color culture brings. And even if you like look at some of my work, it's very like colorful. Even when you open up my publication, it's so colorful because I'm inspired by that, you know. And then also I always say, just look around you. Everything is an inspiration. Like, look at something, see why you're interested by it, ask yourself why your eye was caught by that thing.
Yeah.
And what it is about that thing that's made you interested about it, and take inspiration from it, you know, because it's those questions that you ask yourself that will inspire you for whatever, you know. Like, why do I like that picture? Why did I like that? Why did I like that poster in the barbershop? Do you know what I mean? I'm flipping it. It sounds funny, but I literally use like a concept from one of the, like, when you go to the barbershop, obviously you see the images and it's like, oh, fade number 1, fade number 2, fade number, and just the graphics of that for me was so like interesting. I literally used like the inspiration of that for one of the pages in like my mag.
So like, I feel that your journey is really inspirational. Like, I've watched that growth.
Yeah.
And I've not always been part of it. I was part of it in the beginning, but now when you're here sitting with me and I'm like, I knew your story would be strong, and I was like, I really want people to hear what you're about, because you're so talented, you're multifaceted, you can do many things really well, and not all people are like that.
Yeah.
Some people in their creative, they like to do A and they like a bit of B and maybe a bit of C, but you're running across the spectrum.
Thank you.
And it's like, so I feel that it's a pleasure to have you on board.
Oh, bro, it means a lot. I don't want to cry on camera, but
let's go together.
No, low key actually getting emotional about it, because I think, I feel like I've just always been proving things to other people, in terms of wanting to prove things to other people. And I think now I'm doing things for like myself, and having people that have seen me at the start of my journey, when I was just like, you know, running around constantly doing things for whatever reasons, and now being in the space now where I am just doing it for me, and just it's hard to give yourself a pat on the back sometimes.
It's hard, and you should.
It's hard.
You have to as well.
Yeah, you know, so
you have to give yourself appreciation for what you do, because you do work hard. Like, and it's not just you, it's everyone.
It's everyone. No,
when you're digging deep, and like you said, you've got no money, you're running around.
Yeah,
you're not sure how you're going to pay your next bill.
It's a lot. So no, I really appreciate you for just bringing me on and just wanting to hear the story anyway, you know. So love you, bro.
Always. Thank you so much.
We can hug. Let's cuddle. Love you.